All right, so in this video, we're going to get more familiar with the logical operators, especially the double ampersand and the double pipes, which are the and or logical operators. So the first thing I want to do is just do a console log here with a couple expressions. Let's say if 10, we'll say if 10 is greater than 20, which we know is false, double ampersand, which is and let's say 30 is greater than 15, which is true. If I save this, we're going to get false because when we use the double ampersand in this way, everything here has to be true, okay? Because it's this expression and this expression, and we can add more in here as well. Like we'll say, let's say 40 is greater than 30, which is true. If I save, this is still going to be false. I could add a million more true things. It's still going to be false because this first one is not true. If I change that to 10 is less than 20, which is true, which makes them all true, then we get true for this whole thing. Now, when it comes to the OR operator, let's say 10 is greater than 20, which is false. And then I'll use the double pipes, which is the OR. And then 30 is greater than 15, which is true. If I save that, we get true. Even though the first one is false, one of these is true, which is what matters. It's one or the other. So if I make both of these false, like say 30 is less than 15, then we get false. Okay, so with the double ampersand, they all have to be true. With the OR, just one of them has to be true. Now, you're going to see these used in other ways as well. So I'm going to create a variable here. And actually, let me just put a comment because we're going to look at double ampersand. And this will return. So if we add a bunch of values and we use this operator, this will return the first falsy value or the last value. So let me show you what I mean. If I do console log A, and then I'm going to set here A equals, let's say 10 double ampersand 20. If I save that, I get 20. So if we read this again, we'll return the first falsy value or the last value. We have two values here, 10 and 20. None of them are falsy, so it's giving us the last. If we do another double ampersand and we do 30, that's going to give us 30 because, again, no falsy values, so it gives us the last. If I change this 20 to a 0, which is falsy, then we're going to get that 0. All right, if I copy this down and I do before that 0, let's say an empty string, which is also falsy, then I'm going to get that empty string. So that's how that works. Now, you might be saying, well, this doesn't look, when would I do this? When would I use this? So to give you kind of a practical example, let's say we have some posts. Usually it's an array of objects, but let's just say there's some strings. Post 1, post 2. Okay, and let's say we're getting those from a database or from an API, and we want to show them on the page, right? Let's say we want to show the first post. So I'm just gonna do a console log. You'd probably show this in the page, but for now, let's just do a console log of posts, and let's get the first one. All right, so I get post 1, right? I'm getting the 0 index of this array. Now, if this was empty, like let's say there's no posts in the database or whatever, and then I go to display this, or in this case log it, I get undefined. So if we were displaying this on a web page, you're not going to want to display undefined. So what we could do is before that is add a condition of, let's say, posts dot length, and let's say if that is greater than 0, then we're going to use the double ampersand here. Now, if I save that, it's not going to show this. If there is no post there, right? If the posts are empty, then it's not going to show it. If I add in here, post 1, post 2, and then I save, now I see post 1. So this is a very common way of using this operator. We do this a lot in React, in the front-end framework React, when we're working in JSX and we're taking stuff from an API or wherever the data is coming from, and we don't want to display something that's not there. You want to check first to see if it's there. So if this is false, it's going to return the last value. Now, as far as the double pipe, the OR operator, the way this works is it will return the first truthy value or the last value. So let's say let B, and then we'll console log B, and let's set B equal to 10, and then we'll use the double pipes, and then 20. So in that case, it gives us 10, because again, it will return the first truthy value or the last value. Both of these are truthy, so it's going to return the first one. If I were to set B equal to, let's say 0, which is falsy, and then put 20 on this side, then it's going to return 20, because it will return the first truthy or the last value. If I do, let's say B equals, and then 0, and then null, and then let's do an empty string, which are all falsy, it's going to return the last. Okay, if I put on undefined, which is also falsy, then it's going to return that, which is the last. Now, as far as other operators, we have what's called the nullish coalescing operator, which is the double question mark. It's not used as much, but it is available. So the way this works is it returns the right side operand, so whatever's on the right side, when the left is either null or undefined. So let's say let C and console log C, and then we'll do C equals, and then 10, the nullish coalescing operator, 20, and it's going to give me 10. So again, it returns the right side when the left is null or undefined. 10 is not null or undefined, so it's going to return 20, the right side. If we were to set the left side to either null or undefined, then the right side gets returned. You can see we get 20. Let's say 30, and let's do undefined. We get 30. Now it's not falsy on this side, then it returns the right. It's just null or undefined. So if I do 0 here, it's going to return the 0. It's not looking for just falsy. It's looking for null or undefined. If I do an empty string, then it's going to return that empty string because it's not null or undefined. All right, so there'll be places where you run into this stuff, and keep this, keep the documentation and the code that we write here so that you can look back at it if you need to. All right, now in the next video, we're going to look at logical assignment.